I talked yesterday with the DEP Secretary about the flood funds. There's about $12 million sitting there, and I think tomorrow I'm with some of the people from DEP at an area that's been flooded in my district. Really concerned that we are not doing enough in Pennsylvania to get these funds out there. We've been sitting on these funds now since 2010. And I've just asked you to do whatever you can as Budget Secretary to move those funds as quickly as possible. I don't believe my area will qualify for those due to the nature of the flooding in my area, but they are in the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area. I think the Tioga-Bradford and some of those areas of the state. There are some great projects. I really would like to get those things done. It's such a huge impact on families that, again, I would encourage the administration to move those funds as quickly and get those things done. I want to follow up on the voting machines because I think that's something else that county commissioners I'm getting letters from. I think there's 17 or 18 counties that already had the voting machines that we're talking about, except for they need software update. And I think the Department of State has said to them, well, we think you ought to get new voting machines. Really what we need is to make sure that they have the updated technology to make those machines work. Because, again, they're a little bit outdated in the technology, but they're the same machines we're buying. And I don't think we should make county taxpayers in the counties or the state pay for something that we can get a lot cheaper by updating the software, and there's 18 counties. And as well as, I think it's important how we decide to pay for these. I'm going to be honest with you, there are municipalities across this state and counties that have 50 voters in a precinct. I don't want to be subsidizing counties via a number of precincts. I think we need to subsidize them based upon the number of voters in those counties and make sure that it's fair to all. And we have to have a system that's fair to all the county commissioners, both Democrats and Republicans in each of their counties, because I know they have great concerns about what this system's going to cost them. So I think we need to take a serious look as to, one, the voting machines. I think there's 3 different types that's out there that's on display. It's kind of like I don't know if I should use this analogy, but maybe a Toyota, a high-priced Ford Chevy, and a Lexus or a Cadillac, whatever. And I got to be honest with you, as a taxpayer, I'm not interested in paying for any of the models but the lower model, which is just as good. It just doesn't have all the flashing lights and gimmicks that some of the others have. Because you know and I know, with the change in technology, we're going to be back here at least within 10 years, if not sooner, for more information and new voting machines as well. This technology is changing so rapidly. So I'm interested in making sure we get the biggest bang for our buck as we move into this changing of voting machines, and if you would pay close attention to how we move forward in those areas. The last 2 things I want to touch on is really, again, bothers me tremendously is the Bloomberg issue. When we allow private entities to put employees inside our own state agencies, and look, let's be honest here. If this was the Koch brothers, oh my God, there would be press conferences all across this state talking about conspiracies and everything else. Bloomberg's organizations have well-intentioned motives in their foundations. But we also know that Mr. Bloomberg is considering running for president. So it kind of looks, if I'm one of the other Democratic candidates, I might think that he's getting a political foot up here. So I just think that it's not good policy for us, for anybody, to be inside. I'm glad to take his $10 million or whatever he wants to put in and invest, but maybe it's better to take the $10 million and get it out to each of the counties to fight opioid addiction and this crisis, as the governor's talked about, and I credit the governor for that. But rather than just putting personnel in, I think the counties are looking for dollars. They're looking for more money for Noxalone and other things that they need, rather than personnel here sitting in Harrisburg. The person you succeeded as the former Budget Secretary committed to this caucus and to the General Assembly that he would find money, half of the money, to replace the supplementals that have been submitted by the administration. And I want to hold the administration to that promise that was made when that budget was passed about 9 months ago. So I'm asking you as Budget Secretary to find that additional $200–300 million within the current budget process, that we do not have to come up with all $400 million that has been asked for in supplementals. I know that's a big task to ask you for because you were not the one who made that commitment. But it was a commitment from the administration to this General Assembly to do so. And that really also has a great impact on the budget we may pass here, hopefully in May or sooner, if we can all work everything out. So just putting that on your radar as we move forward. So I think that's critical if we want to fund some of these programs formally, and particularly for those who don't wish to transfer more funds out of the special funds. Madam Secretary, you've heard today the main concerns of the General Assembly members on both sides. concerning lack of details in a lot of these programs and initiatives that the governor has proposed. And the budget is long on aspirations. There's a lot of great proposals in this budget, but really this General Assembly has had very few details on those. And I think it's important for us to truly evaluate the governor's proposal is to have those details on those initiatives and so that we can take them seriously, that they're not just talk, they're real serious. So I'm asking you, it's been 6 weeks now since the budget was unveiled, to get those to us so that we can move to a timely budget. The longer we wait to get those details, the less opportunity it is to get this budget done on time. And I know we've had discussions about getting it done early, and we'll see if we can get there. I know the governor, and I think most of us in this General Assembly would like to see that. We've heard a lot of I don't knows from a lot of secretaries of programs that have been proposed in their budgets. We've had some conflicting statements from different budget secretaries as to in their different areas as to what is and what isn't happening. So I believe that is important that this General Assembly on both sides of the aisle know truthfully and honestly a very clear transparency of what these proposals mean, and that we're looking at the long-term effects as well of these proposals. I don't want to be coming back here next year and saying, oops, we didn't think about this, and what the impact has on next year's budget or the budgets in the future. The governor's budget is a good starting point, and I give him credit for that. And we have to now work together to craft a budget that meets the Commonwealth's fiscal responsibilities that we have to our taxpayers. And I look forward to working with you to negotiate a budget that serves the needs of all Pennsylvanians.